Good morning everybody. We're looking at academic writing part 1 and we've already done this, but we did this with bar charts, line graphs, pie charts. There are a lot of diagrams which may appear in part 1, and the second type of diagram is a map. And I think a map is a little bit different, or quite a bit different from bar graphs, pie charts, because they're very numerical, and so you need to do a numerical analysis, an analysis of the data, of the numbers. But with a map, you're obviously dealing with locations and changes to a location. So here is how I would answer the following question. Hopefully you can see it up here. And I've taken this from IELTS 17, by the way, so it's a typical IELTS exam question. And notice that they're asking you to compare the differences between the two maps. They want you to say what the map looks like now and how a planned future development of the same area, how that will look, what kind of changes will take place. So firstly, be careful of tenses, because when you're describing now, you're going to be using present tense, and when you're describing the future, you'll be using future tense. That's one thing I think is worth bearing in mind. And secondly, say what you see. I said this in the first class. Say what you see. Do not explain, discuss, debate. Do not. That's for part 2. In part 1, you describe. You say what you see. You describe the data. You describe the two diagrams, and you compare and contrast the two diagrams. You say what's the same and you say what's different. That's what compare and contrast means. So here is my answer. The first map, that's this one at the top, the first map illustrates today's layout of the Norbiton industrial area, comma. That's a main clause, then we've got a comma, then we've got a subordinating conjunction, and that's why we have a comma here. And well, it's a contrasting subordinating conjunction, and that's why we have a comma here, because I must admit some subordinating conjunctions don't really require a comma when the subordinate clause is second. But whereas provides contrast, so we usually put a comma here. Whereas the second map, but we can use ellipsis here, the second details the substantial, the drastic, the radical changes. Now, I've used these words because there are so many changes in the two maps, We're going to completely tear down the factories and we're going to build houses.